at ISKA. Today we have Alankrita with us, and we are going to take you through a journey of knowing and learning and understanding about chakras, what are chakras, and how it can help us. So I'm just trying to just see that whether she's able to join us or not. And once she joins, we will start with the live topic. Again, as usual, we are going to be having the live for about 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, and in the end we will be addressing all the questions that you have regarding the topic. So if you have any questions in the middle, do keep them posted. And I think Alankrita is here. I'm just trying to see if Alankrita, have you received my invite? Okay, great. Hi.
Hi, excuse my background.
No.
Wait.
So, Guwahati, we are in Guwahati, and Guwahati is a green zone, yes. So, we have been lucky to have met each other also during the lockdown, even if it's for just, the stipulated, restricted time. So, just letting you guys know.
Yes. So, have you started with telling our viewers what is today's topic and what are we going to say?
Yes, just that it is on chakras today, and that you are the expert today, and you will be, telling us all about chakras and what it is. So, start off. Tell us what are chakras and how can we, be at better emotional and physical equilibrium through healing them.
All right. So to start with, chakras are something which we all saw in Shaktiman, if you remember. So, at that time, I did not understand, except for they showed this human figure, and there were these points with colorful lights. And as I grew up, I was very curious about it, and then I came to know about what chakras are, how it works, and how is it helpful in our existence, how does it work. So basically, chakras are nothing but we all know what is acupuncture, right? So each point of acupuncture is an energy. So there are different vortexes in our body which has got energy. So chakras are basically those vortexes or those energy like things, and basically it connects you with the physical and the metaphysical realm. So again, it also has this life energy which we also know as prana. So just in general, what chakra is.
Okay. So, guys, chakras are, like Alankrita said, they are all over our body, and there are different points in our body where different, flows of energy is there. And, tapping certain points or working with these certain points can really help us in terms of regulating our emotions and our physical, body, whether it is, even pain, migraine, anxiety, a lot of a range of issues. So majorly the points that we are going to be discussing today are the 7 points in chakras. Okay, so they are the crown chakra, the third eye, the throat, the heart chakra, solar plexus, sacral, and the root. So a lot of people, I think, they get confused when they hear about chakra. They feel like, are you talking about some kind of a what is the word? Not scientific is what I would like to say. I don't want to use any other word here. So not scientific or like not evidence based, but that is not true. There are a lot of, practices and studies which use this knowledge, and EFT being one of them, where we tap on different meridian points again for the same energy flow. And you can also tap on the chakra points too, and we do that, right? We do tap on the throat, and we do tap on third eye and on top, and we do that. So Alankrita, if you can tell us which are the different points in the physical body, like physically where are they located, the chakras, so that people can know more about them, and maybe which organ or system internally is each chakra sort of regulating. Yeah.
Okay. So before I move on to that point, as you said, that people are skeptical about chakras. Not everyone welcomes this topic, and people are much more into scientific and logic. Well, if I have to say, it is not something new. When we talk about chakras, it is an ancient discovery, an ancient term. And just a minute. Also, it is not physically seen. Of course, yes, chakras are not something which is physically visible. It is just like feelings or ideas or emotions, right? The way we can't see the emotion physically, but it is expressed in some or the other form. Just like that, when we talk about chakras, it is mostly about the manifestations. What do we manifest in our lives? The way we think, the way we feel, the way we do the mental talk. Okay, so basically all these things which we talk, and if we also say and talk about the secret law of attraction, right? So it has to do with all these things. Well, we cannot see the law of attraction, but we can manifest, and as it gets manifested, we can see in our lives the different changes. So just like that, as Suniti, she has also mentioned about the different chakras. So, well, starting with the base chakra, which is the root chakra. So, base, it is located right in the base of our spine, okay? And also the theme is survival, okay? And metamorphically, there are also elements to all these chakras. Like root chakra, it is the survival, and the main element is earth. So basically, it is the lowermost chakra, and it is related. It is much close to earth. Okay, so there is more grounding, and the organs related are. It is mostly the intestine, the colon. Then, as we move above the root chakra, there is sacral chakra. So again, the sacral chakra, it is related with sexuality and joy and creativity, and the element is water. Now, Yes. It again, see, as water, it is something which is in a flow, right? So our creativity, our joy, everything, all the good things, it should also be in a flow. But whether it is actually happening or not, that we have to say, that is a different topic altogether, the blocks of chakra. Well, the major organs related to it is the sexual glands, the sexual organs, it is the urinary system, and then moving ahead to the solar plexus. It is mostly related with power, okay? Yes. And then the element is fire. Now, the organ which is related to it is the stomach, the pancreas, and the digestive system, the liver. So, if you see that it is mostly related to power, right? Whenever something is not happening, if this particular chakra is blocked, then what we feel is that, or what we find is that the first reaction to any nervous situation or any situation which is very distressful. So what do we feel? There is a we feel that our stomach is not well, and then probably we feel like using the bathroom. So it has to do a lot with control, with power. Okay. Then moving ahead to the heart chakra, which relates to love, and the element is air. Okay. We all know love is everywhere, right? And basically, the organs related to it is heart, lungs, arms, and extension of our hand. Okay. Well,
Yes.
oh, hi, sir.
That's why I was smiling.
Yeah, I just noticed. Okay, so moving ahead to throat chakra. So throat chakra, it is mainly related with communication. So and the element is sound, communication and sound. It makes a lot of sense, and therefore the gland is thyroid gland, and the organs related to it are the mouth, nose, and then throat. Okay, so I will. Uh-huh.
The vocal cords.
Vocal cord, yes. So I will talk about how it gets affected. So basically, when we are not being able to vocalize our opinion, definitely there is some sort of guilt or some sort of pain associated with it. So that comes only with a blocked throat chakra. Okay, so there are further manifestations, affirmations, and lots of meditations associated with opening of all these chakras, but probably we can touch that on a different day. So then moving on to the third eye, or it is related mostly with the intuition, and the element is light. Okay, and it also if your third eye is blocked, then it creates a sense of illusion. Okay, and basically the organs related to it is the eye, nose, then ears, brain. The entire pituitary gland is in action. Okay,
Yes.
and the crown chakra, which is also the center of knowledge, and it also relates to consciousness, and its main theme is the element is thought, and the main organ is pineal gland. So much is known about pineal gland, except for we all we know that it is mostly related with the functioning of melatonin, which we all know it is responsible for sleep. But yes, again, this is the point. These points, I mean, all these points are somehow related to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, so as Maslow's hierarchy of needs states, the security and safety and the importance of love and self-actualize. So all these are related. Probably in Maslow's hierarchy, the chronology is a bit different. I mean, the positions are different, but yes, you can quite relate to it. And I think if you can explain to our viewers how it is related, it will be better.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that. Guys, if you know about Abraham Maslow and his hierarchy of needs, so we have, certain basic needs and safety, security needs and belongingness, self-esteem. So we have different needs which sort of propel our, functions in life, in the sense how we behave or how we are thinking or feeling. And, these needs are very essential to our being and how we live, or what makes us reach out for a few things. Because let's say we are all on earth, so we have certain kind of a life that we sort of need to live, and these needs also lead to wants. Okay, so to simplify it, we have the basic needs, which cover the food, sleep, sex, air, water, basically just surviving. Okay, and then we have the safety and security needs, where we need shelter, we need to be safe from danger, we need to be protected. So for early men, in terms of like cavemen, it's not just building a house but also having clothes, having basic necessities. So all of that will fall under that. Then we move on to our belongingness needs. So belongingness is these groups that we have, our friends, our families, social groups that we form, and different customs, everything, all of that falls there. And we require these. They are called needs because we need it sort of to move forward in life, to live this life. Then after that come the self-esteem needs. Okay, here it is about finding your own inner strength. When you're talking about heart chakra love, it's not just about loving someone else, it's about loving yourself, loving what you do, your own life, your choices, all of these things. And then we move on to being self-actualized. So if you see it in tangent to the chakras, the root and sacral sort of fall in basic needs, where it is about surviving. It is about having the basic joys in life. For example, let's say that you are very, very hungry and you eat. What is it that you feel? It's joy, right? It's that simple joy. So you can say that you are stress free, and then you can move into like a more creative or like the next zone. So what, just to have like a clearer understanding of what chakras and can be, we have taken the examples of the needs. Okay guys, it's not like there is anyone who has correlated them. What we wanted to do is this, so that you can have a more sort of logical or scientific understanding of the chakras, and those of you who have studied psychology can easily sort of relate to it. So after that, we move on to the safety security needs, which is about things being in your control. So we move on to the solar chakra, which is about self-control, power, feeling like things in my life are the way I want, and not being manipulated, or not having to follow someone else's direction, or feeling like you are in sort of, let's say, regulated in terms of emotions or thoughts, like what you want to say, what you want to do. So that, and that is also in the safety and security, because a lot of people feel that safety security needs are about having a roof on top of my head. No doubt, that's true, but it involves a lot more. Okay. And then we move on to the belongingness needs, which is the heart chakra. Here again, love, belonging to a group, reference group, then having those relationships that really support you, but also finding that belongingness inside you, like what kind of a person am I, or am I deviating from my identity? And we have had so many lives here before in the past month, where we spoke a lot about deviating from our identity when we react in a particular way, or we behave in a particular way, and how we can bring that back into balance, all of this. And then moving on, we have the self-esteem needs, okay, which is more like the throat. So throat chakra is all about being assertive, speaking your truth, expressing what you want to express, what you need to express, being able to hold those conversations, being able to speak up, being able to, sort of voice out. Okay. And what happens with the chakras is that, just like these needs, when any one of them falls, we do not reach self-actualization. And a lot of people feel self-actualization is like having a monk-like state, where you have given away every relationship, and you are in your own happy little world, and not connection to Moh Maya, whatever you call them in Hindi. But it's more about not having or succumbing to these kind of needs, where all of these are met, and then we can move to self-actualization. So the same way, after the throat chakra is the third eye and the crown, and that is all about, as Alankrita shared with us, it's all about the knowing and understanding, having an in-depth understanding of your life, having that planning. If you're talking about cognitive skills, it's about planning, decision making, all of those things. So that position can be reached only when the other chakras are sort of balanced or equilibrium. Okay, so let's say that all of your needs are met and you are a self-actualized person who is not running behind any of the needs in terms of want, like how we see teenagers. I want a particular phone, or I want a particular dress. Why? Because I want to have that belongingness, and that is coming from the belongingness need. Okay, so if that is not fulfilled, will this person be self actualized? No. So any one of the needs falls, and then you go down the pyramid. So the same thing with the chakras is, any one of them can go out of balance for whatever situations that you face externally, and your reaction to it on the basis of what kind of experiences you have had as a child or in your life. And then these chakras go off balance, and even if you are having a healthy thought process, but still you might not be able to sort of convert your ideas into work, then your root needs, your root is out of balance, or your sacral is out of balance. So that's what we say. And connecting it to the needs is something that can give you more clarity in terms of how you can understand the chakras and their influence. So Alankrita, what is the next area that you would like to cover?
So basically, I want to tell about the blocks relating to each and every chakra. So when we are talking about blocks, see, as I already said, that these chakras, they don't have a physical form. It is about all the manifestations which you have in your life, right? And it might be anything. It might be related to any aspect of your life. So when we talk about the root chakra, which is basically, it is mostly to do with survival. So when we talk about survival, the one important thing which comes to our mind is money, of course. If you are not being able to have that desired amount of money in your life, therefore it will naturally hamper or impact your survival. And of course, the other needs, as stated by yes, we'll just come back to the question.
Yes, we'll do the questions in the end, guys. Leave them, not an issue. Leave them. We'll get back to you.
Right. So I was saying about the block of the root chakra. Well, as I said, it is to do with survival, and again, survival means money. So whenever we have a block in our root, so if you don't have money, what is the obvious feeling which you would feel? One obvious thing which you would feel, that is fear, right? So just like an open root chakra will always have survival as its theme, and therefore a blocked root chakra will always have fear as its theme. Okay, so just like root chakra, an open sacral chakra will have its theme as pleasure, because a lot of things like sex, joy, creativity, it is all related to pleasure. But at the same time, when it is blocked, one may feel clear, one may be feeling guilty of a lot of things. So again, here we all know, when it comes to sex, we all feel guilty, right? Is loving person or having relationship with one person is good, or is it, or having a relationship with multiple partners, maybe not all at the same time, but if you have partners from one say relationship that did not work to another relationship which is working, and probably again that did not work, so like that you would have multiple relationships, right? And there is the fear, and there you have this feeling of guilt. Okay, so if you see, or if you are guilty about a lot of things, if anything, if there is guilt which comes in between your joy, your creativity, that clearly indicates block in your sacral chakra. So just like that, in solar chakra, so solar chakra relates to power. So when there is power, there is fame, there is everything. Everything is in your control. Suddenly, you don't have that control anymore. You don't have that, power anymore. what will you feel? What will one feel? The obvious thing will be shame. Okay, so just like an open solar chakra will welcome power, just like that a closed or a blocked solar chakra will be always dominated by shame. So this is one important point which we also have to see and understand, that power and fear, okay, shame, guilt, fear, all these chakras which are basically in the lower level of our bodies, these are closely connected to the earth, as I already said. So therefore, if one gets hampered, the others will automatically be shaken. So there has to be a balance between all these three, because again it is said that the chakras are disc like, okay, so it spins. So there is a particular speed in which the chakra spins. If your chakra is too slow, it might be blocked. Or again, if your chakra is spinning too fast, again there might be a block. So of course we cannot see it, right? But how can we see in our real lives? By the way things get manifested. Suppose you have to suppose someone owes you some money, and if you feel that it has been stuck for a lot of year, again you see the entire process is very slow, which automatically it will show that okay, something is not right. And when you actually understand that this is not right, it will automatically refer to either of the blocks. It will refer to blocks in either of the chakras. Okay, so just like that, when it comes to heart chakra, which when open we receive love, but a closed heart chakra will receive, okay, probably the feeling would be like I don't have enough of it, I am not worthy of it. So again there will be mental dialogues or mental statements which will not be that encouraging to yourself, okay, which resonates to, or which will again say that a person who is not open to receiving, what does it mean? If you're not open to receiving something, you will not get. And if you will not, and if you don't get, you will be disheartened. And this journey of disheartened and this journey of not receiving will definitely lead to grief. Okay? So this is just a word. Grief is not the only emotion. There are other emotions. There are other words related to different areas of life, which relates or which shows that there are blocks. Okay. Again, moving ahead with the throat chakra. Throat is vocal, voice, truth. If when your throat chakra is open, you will always be less fearful. Probably you'll be more vocal about your opinion. And if not, it will be blocked. And if there is truth as openness, there will be lies as blocked. So if you keep on saying that, no, I'm brave enough to ask my boss for a raise, but as soon as your boss calls you and then you're not able to speak for the raise or hike in your salary, then probably you are lying to yourself, right? You are telling people that I'm brave, and on the other hand, when actually it should have been in actions, you're not doing it, right? So definitely you're lying to yourself. It is not you're lying to others, you're lying to yourself. And that denotes a blocked throat chakra. So again, when it comes to vision, which is our third eye, so an open third eye will always be welcoming to vision, okay, will always be intuitive, whereas a closed third eye will always be in the trap of illusion, okay, something which is not, but still you feel that there it is, okay, it will be very confusing. And since this is confusing, if your vision is confusing, and if your vision is full of illusion, then definitely there will be a block in your crown chakra, which will again it is mostly related to ego attachments, okay, that people are not welcome, people are not open to receiving comments from others. They are not open to receiving advice or knowledge from probably a person who knows the best, okay, or maybe from any other authoritative figure. So basically, yes, they are not welcoming of receiving. So these are the blocks, how it affects, and that's it.
So, guys, these are just some of the blocks, okay? Because chakras are also having physical locations. There can be different physical manifestations also, which can be resolved through chakra healing. But one thing that I want to point out here is Alankrita has beautifully explained in a very concise way the different kinds of blocks that might, resonate with each of the chakras. But if you look at it, there are other chakras out of balance. If one is blocked, there are others out of balance too, okay? For example, let us take that raise or promotion example, where you generally have a very brave or courageous persona, let's say, but when it comes to getting things done for yourself, you are not assertive. So if your throat is blocked and you are not assertive, then somewhere it is your solar which is disbalanced. So you don't feel that sense of power, or maybe there is your heart chakra which is disbalanced, okay? And you might not be having that self-love enough to ask for what you deserve, right? Or sometimes it can even be your root, where you are scared that you might not be able to survive without a particular type of rejection from whether it's a boss or anybody, and then you are not able to voice out. So you have to see that if some kind of manifestation has happened, what chakra is blocked, and also which other chakras are contributing to it by being out of balance. All right. Even something overactive, like you said, chakras spin in a particular way. There is a balanced, smooth way that they are spinning, means they are stable. Okay. If they move too slow, then there is a block, and if they are moving too fast, there is a block. Okay. Why there is a block? Let's say the throat chakra is spinning too fast. There might be sometimes I feel my throat is moving too fast because I speak really fast. But like someone who is very aggressive can get very verbally violent, let's say, with a lot of words. Or some people, if you have seen, they will not speak with meaning, but they would just speak. There are a lot of people who speak a lot and describe things a lot, and maybe it's because somewhere that chakra is overactive because some other chakra is slower. So maybe there has been a lot of times where you feel invalidated by your communication, that what you have to give has been heavily criticized, or that it is not good enough. So your root or your solar is out of balance, and therefore your throat is overcompensating for it. Okay, so these kind of manifestations also happen, and therefore understanding chakras in depth can help us have a lot of vision when it comes to any kind of manifestation, as Alankrita said, whether it is a physical symptom, or whether it is an emotional symptom, or whether it is even situations in our life. Because remember, guys, we are the ones who are creating the situations in our life. If you are not getting a raise, maybe you have not voiced out. If you are not getting a new job, maybe because you have not taken the amount of efforts that you need to look for another one. And why is that happening? Because probably you are scared. Your root is in fear of survival, or maybe your solar is feeling disbalanced. Okay, so chakras are very, very in depth, no doubt, but we have tried to simplify it so that it might get across to a lot of people in a very layman terms, and they can relate to it, and also the manifestations, they can relate to that. Yeah. So, Alankrita, if you can share with us, we are at around 8:45. Yes. So, if you can share with us some affirmations, because we don't have a lot of time to show in a live, guys, the different ways by which you can heal or balance your chakras. But saying positive affirmations can be one of the quick and simple tools, and we wanted to share that today. So, Alankrita, if you can share that with us.
Yes. So actually, I have noted down few affirmations for each chakra. Now, see, we call it affirmations because when you repeat something again and again, so your subconscious mind it reacts, or it acts in such a manner that it manifests it into reality. Okay, So your subconscious mind is like whatever you feed to it, it will just bring you out only that desired form of whatever you have manifested. So let's start with root. Okay. So for root chakra, what you can do is that daily you can say that I am grounded. I am it. Okay. So guys, for there are also mudras. Okay, there are also mudras for holding a particular meditative position and then chanting these affirmations. But you can also see YouTube and you can also Google out, because there are a lot of affirmation ways and techniques and statements. But of course there are ways to do it. Okay. We have decided to keep a workshop probably in the month of June, or we'll announce it soon, where we can teach you in detailed form how these affirmations can be practiced. But now I will say just in general. Okay. So for root, you can say that I am grounded. All right. Now for sacral, you can say that I am kind and compassionate. Okay. So again, sacral is with the sexuality, with creativity, with joy. So therefore, you can say that I am kind and passionate. Now for solar, which has to do with power. Okay. So for solar, you can say that I am valuable. I am valuable. So when you say I am valuable, you don't need any external validation to that. You don't need others' approval for you valuing yourself. You anyways have to value yourself, because nobody else will do that on behalf of you or for you. Okay. Now moving on to heart chakra. So heart chakra is all about love and acceptance. So therefore, what you can say that I accept myself and others as they are. I accept myself and others as they are, or as we are. Probably as we are, you can say. Okay. Moving on to throat chakra. So the most powerful thing about throat chakra is communication. And when we are not able to communicate, there is an immense pressure or stress which we feel here in our throat, as if there is a lump which we cannot gulp it, right? So
It's
for
like
that,
tonsil.
yes, it's very much like a tonsil. Well, for that, you can say that I can say no when it is necessary. It is very important. I can say no when it is necessary. Well, the third eye for your intuition, okay? You can say that I dwell in the present time. So we are always apprehensive about future. We always keep on thinking what happened yesterday, what happened this morning. I can't get over it. No, just take a moment, pause, and just tell yourself, I am or I dwell in the present. Okay, as simple as that. And finally, for the crown chakra, which is the base of all knowledge and understanding and consciousness, what you can say is that I understand deeper truth and connection. I understand deeper truth and connection. Well, these are the 7 affirmations which, if you have noted down, then good. And you can, of course, Google it. But yes, these are the few things which I said. And of course, if you join our workshop, you'll get to know about it a lot.
So we are just planning one, guys, because we get a lot of requests for, work through phone because of sessions, because we are not able to meet people or meet our clients. Although Guwahati being in green zone now, my people are requesting for face to face. Therefore, we wanted to talk about chakras because it is one of a very important, essential, a very beneficial tool when it comes to doing distant work, on phone or something, because it can be done with a lot of your own energy. It can be done with a lot of Reiki and other stuff. So therefore, a session with chakra can be very helpful. So I will just take the questions now. Anshuman, you had a question. Can meditation clear chakra blocks. Alankita, would you like to take that?
Well, of course, meditation will help you, but clearing the chakra blocks, I'm not that sure, because see, clearing chakra blocks is a very vast thing altogether. And
Yeah.
once you clear your chakra, see, if you meditate on the way your chakras are, you never know in what state you are meditating. It might be blocked, it might be open, or it might be blocked from behind, open from front. Okay, so again, there are a lot of things which we have to keep in mind. So I would say, if you cleanse your chakra first and then go for chakra meditation, I think that will be most helpful. What
I didn't hear you. I'm so sorry. I didn't hear the last part.
do you feel?
What do I feel? Yeah. So I would feel that, chakras, yes, they can be aligned and balanced and cleansed with meditation, but one needs to understand each of them before you attempt it, because that can be better. So I would agree with Alankita. Also, if you feel that you want to go into self-practice for chakras, then definitely meditation is a great tool, and using, your mind's eye or visualization to visualize the chakras and balance them. But before that, if you could, practice the affirmations first, that would help you be more internally aware and aligned about your chakras. What might be blocked or what might be disbalanced. We spoke about both today, guys. If you have noticed, we spoke about chakras being blocked and chakras having disbalance. Okay, so yeah, you can do that. You can probably do the affirmations first and then the meditation, and yes, definitely it will help. The second question is, if a person procrastinates, which chakra is not balanced, and what is the affirmation that can be used? So procrastination is a different ball game altogether to understand, but I will still try to cover whatever can be covered here. So when we talk about procrastination, it is a lot of fear of failure from one side. If you look at it from one angle, it is like, avoid it before you fail. So, I have a tendency to procrastinate. Oh, I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. And then we delay the work, and we allow ourselves to feel the stress, the amount of stress that is needed for us to get the job done. Okay, either it is fear of failure, that it's not going to be good enough, our people are going to tell me that, do it again or whatever, and better to do it last moment and tell people कि मैंने last moment किया इसलिए अच्छा नहीं हुआ or whatever, and then avoid the whole, take a detour from that. Or it might also be that some people fear getting more responsibility. Okay, this person is able to quickly finish their work, or this person is able to quickly overcome some kind of a challenge that is given. So pile on, okay? So these two from one angle. So when it comes to procrastination, we have to understand this aspect of it, from where the person is coming, the root cause. Secondly, we need to understand also if there is any payoff. Like, if I procrastinate, what is the best thing that is happening to me? So, we talk a lot about asking ourselves, what is the worst that is going to happen, or what is the best thing? So, let's say that I procrastinate. What is the best thing that will happen? People are not going to give me a lot of work. I'm going to feel free from doing work. See, when we are procrastinating, we are not doing it actively. There are very few people who watch TV and procrastinate, and the whole world comes to know that they are procrastinating. Right, Alankita? How do you procrastinate? Tell me. What do we say? We say, I'm very busy, please don't disturb me. But what are we doing? We are doing some work, but we get distracted by our phone, we get distracted by something else, and then we go into the flow, and then we are like, oh, this work is not done, I procrastinated today. But we let the world know what? That I'm very busy, don't disturb me. Yeah.
Right. Also, I feel when we talk about procrastination or issues, topics as such with relation to chakra healing, I feel most of us, we tend to get very defensive. Okay, so here our defense mechanism kind of comes into action. What do you feel, Suniti?
Yeah, true. A lot of chakras also being disbalanced sort of bring out those defense mechanisms to protect the ego, yes. But just I want to circle back to the question, because I'm seeing the timer here also. So I know we wanted to talk about defense mechanisms also. So guys, I don't know what is the issue with Insta Live now. We have been doing it for a month for so long. Suddenly now the joint lives have a certain timer on it, and as soon as it reaches a particular time, the call just drops. So I think my solar is disbalanced with this, and I just want to control the situation as much as I can and finish everything within the timeline. So that's all. Okay, I don't know what is the issue now. But anyway, so moving on with procrastination, we have to see, let's say if it is failure, what is going to come out of the failure is maybe someone getting rejected, okay, or someone feeling worthless. So maybe solar is disbalanced. Okay, if failure means that you are making it about your entire world, that my whole world is now going to go for a toss because I have failed in a task, therefore I'm avoiding doing it, then maybe the root is disbalanced. So we have to get to the core crux of any kind of behavior through questioning. And when you practice certain modalities is when you know what kind of questioning to ask. But simplest way is, what payoff am I getting from doing this will give me an answer to what is it that I'm trying to avoid. And when I'm able to identify what is it that I'm trying to avoid through this act of procrastination, truly the core, okay, it's not the load of the work, okay, the core part, then it is easier for us to pinpoint the chakra. All right. Otherwise, also maintaining healthy chakras through meditation or through affirmation or whatever will help you also stay more in balance, where these kind of issues can be more easily overcome or avoided. Okay.
So we have a question.
Yeah, Loon has a question. How is depression related to chakras? So, depression is a lot about not being in the body, not being grounded. Okay. Again, any kind of an issue, mental health issue or physical issue, will have multiple sort of, let's say, entry points for problem. Okay, or like multiple sort of ways in which we can look at the scenario. But if you take one point and look at it now, for now, it's like not being in the body or not being grounded. So when you are not grounded, means your root is blocked. Okay, your sacral is blocked because you are not feeling that joy, you are not feeling that you're not feeling that connection to the creativity inside you. We become very much affected by things that are external to us, and that means that we are not grounded in our own selves with our own identity, in one way, if you want to look at it. Okay, so there are 100 ways to sort of process this. So guys, please don't take our words to be the only final one, but just giving a viewpoint. So again, if your root and sacral are blocked, then that means your solar is also gone for a toss. It is disbalanced. Your heart chakra is also disbalanced. Your throat is going to be disbalanced. You are going to not want to speak up. You will not have self-love. You will not feel like you are in control of the situation. You are not going to have, a problem-solving attitude or like a vision about your life. You're going to feel hopeless. Your root is blocked. You will feel helpless. So that's how we can sort of identify. So if depression is there, again, it is about going to the whole core crux of what the person is feeling and checking those feelings in terms of the chakras. Okay, understanding the chakras, a lot of people understand chakra in a very spiritual way or in a very greater sense way, in a very abstract way. True, it has that aspect to it, but if we can try to understand it more in terms of connecting it with our needs or wants or how our body is functioning, it can give a simpler, clearer picture by which you can resolve these issues. That is the reason why we wanted to talk about affirmations. We want to talk about the hierarchy of needs. We wanted to talk about the physical locations, etc. So I'm not sure, Loon, if I answered your questions, but do you have an idea of how it might be related? That we need to look at the different core issue again behind a person being depressed, and then connect it to the chakras and also try to balance it or heal it, cleanse it, whatever.
Also, as I already mentioned, that just like the emotions, it takes a toll over us, right? uh, Depression, again, it has its own underlying theme, okay? But how, when it comes to depression and the chakras, as basically all the chakras gets affected, and if all the chakras are getting affected, it means those chakras are related to some organ, right? Therefore all the vital organs, starting from your brain to your eyes, through which you perceive, and then your throat, because you're not being able to vocalize how you feel, you're not able to feel the way you want to feel, there is immensely, again, a blocked heart will be all about guilt, and there will be no power, therefore shame in your solar, and there will be no pleasure, therefore it will be again guilt, okay? So all these glands which are associated with the chakras, again, those gets distorted. So of course there are many other modalities to answering your question, but in terms of chakra, this is what we can come up with right now. And of course, these are not the final answers, or the only solution, but these are just few of the ways that it can hamper, or it can just have a toll on you.
So, guys, we will put our post on our page with the affirmations that you can use. And, if you are someone who is into meditation, and, meditation doesn't mean that you have to sit in one place in a particular posture with a particular mudra. What happens is that throws us off guard. We want to make it a point to sit for an hour, half an hour, and then we don't get the actual benefit out of it, because as human beings, either we are in the future or we are in the past. But you can utilize any moment in your life to sort of meditate or be mindful. So let's say, even if you are watching the live right now, watch it with full curiosity, and even if any thoughts about past or future comes, allow it to pass. Just tell yourself that I'll think about this later, and just focus on whatever it is that you're doing in the present, whether it is for 5 minutes, whether it is for 10 minutes. And during that time also you are meditating, because meditation is about that focus, that steadiness, which can even come from being in the present for even 5 minutes, and then slowly increasing that time. So let's say that you want to meditate with the chakra affirmations. Make sure that when you are speaking the affirmations out loud, don't think that, am I feeling something, is this happening, is that happening, am I saying the right words? Just focus on the words and allow that to keep ringing back to you. As you repeat, hear it. Use your senses. If your eyes are closed and you're saying that I am passionate, visualize what passion is for you. Use your visual sense. Use your speak it, hear it. Try to feel it. What would passion feel like to me? Feel it in your body. Will it feel like very fiery? Is it going to feel very calming for me? Try to feel it and engage all your senses, and then even 5 to 10 minutes of saying the affirmations can become very meditative and powerful. So I wanted to end on that note from my side. Alankita, do you have any points?
Yes, the only thing which I want to say is that, again, there might be a question that if we are meditating, should it be only from top to bottom, from bottom to top? No, it is not like that. So see, meditation is something which is so relaxing and so different. And for when you are meditating, while practicing this with the affirmations, it does not have to be you have to chant all the chakras affirmations. You can always take 2 chakras or a single chakra at a time, and then go with it, because I think that will be more helpful, and then you can get more insight into what you want. Once you start meditating, probably with I am grounded, the moment you keep on repeating I am grounded, will open many pathways and many ideas to different perceptions about being grounded. Okay, so I think that will be quite helpful if you do one at a time. It's a choice. Yeah. Okay, right or wrong format of doing it.
Yeah, true. But I think I agree with you. If you are new to it, then focus on one chakra at a time, or maybe focus on one issue and then try to work through that, with that issue through each of the chakras. So even if you're working with procrastination, see what is there in the root that might be disbalanced, because we have given the information on the root. And yes guys, I will put up a post on this also, so that there is more information in your hands. So maybe focusing on that part of the root, or focusing on the sacral and its connection to your procrastination, focusing on the solar and feeling powerless in your procrastination. So try to maybe focus on one issue or one chakra at a time. Go however you would like, and definitely if you have any questions or any guidance you need, please DM us. We are always available. And I think we can come to an end today with this topic. I hope you guys enjoyed, and please let us know what other topics we can come up with. And we are planning to keep a workshop next month. Let's see, hopefully it will manifest, and we want to do it on chakras because it's a new topic. A lot of people are confused about it and don't understand the value it can add, or how it can help us. And that's it for today. And okay, do let us know in prior for next live chats. Thank you. What do we need to let you know, Loon? Can you clarify? Because we do put up a post for the next live that comes up. We always promote each live for 48 hours so that it is circulated enough for you all. Or check in every alternate day. We have a live every alternate day most of the time, right? So you can just check in with the page from time to time maybe, and that will keep you there. And hopefully we can make these lives like IGTV so that they can stay with us. But we are still trying to figure that out, I think, amidst this new life of work from home and all the extra responsibilities that it is bringing, I think, in a different way. Okay, so thank you so much, Alankrita, for joining me.
Thank you. It was great, and we really it was. I personally feel so good because we really planned it a long time ago, and finally it has happened. And yes, guys, we will come up with more of these kind of topics, or any topics if you have in your mind. You can always DM us, and that's it. Stay home, stay safe.
Yeah, stay home, stay safe, make lots of food, be happy, connect with your friends, do your chakra affirmations, and join us on 10th here on the ISKA page. We are going to be having a live with Saransh Day. He is a CA and a financial expert, and we will be talking about how you can better manage your personal finances, and how that can give us a sound mental health, right? Because that is something very, very, very important. So see you guys on 10th. Okay, bye.
See you. Bye.